A to the K.
A to the K. We're here to talk about Survivor Series.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're here. Finally. I know you've been waiting. Like, you must be like really angry because, you know, you've been putting this off, watching this show until we were ready to talk about
Survivor
it.
Series because of you guys. I get it.
But it's okay. Now you can, because we're going to talk all about it, finally.
Finally.
But yeah, we're just going to do it in the standard way we would do for This Week in Wrestling. But it's going to be our Survivor Series. So we're going to talk about some highlights from the show, Anthony, aren't we?
Right.
And the first one, we're going to chat about.
Okay, you're doing the first one, okay.
Oh yeah, we haven't put names against this. We just riff. But I'm going to chat about Becky and Charlotte. I thought it was fucking electric. It was intense. It was aggressive. Stealing each other's finishes and stuff. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I think, considering it was the only thing that was built up on the whole fucking show, probably made sense.
And then
why
they
we
still
were
debate
invested.
whether it was a work or a shoot. But it fueled a feud, so it's a work.
Yeah, I concur.
I concur as well.
But yeah, no, I thought it was really good, except for the finish. So for me, the finish sucked. Didn't see the point in it at all.
Justify this.
Well, it was just lame, wasn't it? It was just like, oh no, I'm going to roll you up and I'm holding the ropes. And it's like, oh no, I can see you holding the ropes. And it's like, well, I'm going to roll you up and hold the ropes. And the ref's like, yeah, that's okay.
Okay, apologies. So you're not bothered about the finish in terms of who won. You're bothered about that screwy rolly up bit.
Yeah, so like
Okay.
literally the pin. I think the right person probably won. Let's be honest. She's come back and has been undefeated, where Charlotte's lost a couple of times this year. So
I mean, it's probably the longest match she's had as well. So
so yeah, all in all, though, I thought it was pretty good.
Apparently, what was it? Their outfits were a reference to something as well, and I had it in my head, and now it's completely gone.
Britney Spears. Is it Britney
No,
Spears?
no. Hang on, it'll come back to me. Maybe
You
we
look
talk
like
about
Britney
the rest of the
Spears.
show, and I'll go. No, it was referencing something. Stop saying Britney Spears. It's not help.
Britney Spears.
Stop it. Damn it.
Well, Becky reminded me of Britney Spears and Oops, I Did It Again video. So
You know what? Right, I'm sick of you saying Britney Spears. I'm going to Google it. Right.
How many times can Carl say Britney Spears in the opening segment of a wrestling pay-per-view analysis? Elevator music.
I have to vamp or something. Like I'm googling stuff here.
Do. Britney Spears. Do. Britney Spears. But yeah, while he's doing that, yeah, the match I thought was good. But yeah, it was just a finish. I just don't get why it had to end that way. They're so scared of doing definitive finishes in WWE. It just doesn't make any sense. It's fine for someone to lose clean sometimes. And I know I've just had been a bit like, oh, well, I don't think Britt Baker should have lost to Rio. But, you know, it's fine for someone to lose clean sometimes. Maybe not when there's a giant tournament final coming up, but, you know.
Yeah, maybe not. So anyway, Carl, as I was saying, should we try and double back like this never happened?
Britney Spears.
So it wasn't Britney Spears, actually. I can help you out with this one, Carl.
Okay.
They were actually referencing Marvel with their outfits. So for those of you who are a fan of WandaVision, Becky's outfit was an homage or alluding to the character of Wanda, and Charlotte's outfit was alluding to Agatha, who was essentially the villain. If you haven't watched the whole series, sorry about that. But yeah, they were apparently alluding to the WandaVision TV series as produced by Disney.
So for two people who
WWE's being sold by
so for two people who absolutely hate each other and they can't stand each other and it's all real,
really
nice to coordinate their outfits for the occasion.
Crazy that, and that's something I read on the internet, so that's fact. So there you go.
If it's on the internet, it has to be true.
Like no one could just edit a Wikipedia article.
No. Check it again, actually. Just
says Britney over and over.
Homage to Britney Spears in the Oops, I Did It Again video. Highlight for me this. Do you want to talk about the next one?
Okay, so the next one for me, Carl, it's such a minor thing, but it deserves to be a highlight because it was class.
It fucking does.
Owens walking out of the men's Survivor Series match at the very fucking start. Top heel work. Fantastic. Loved it. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, just so no one else can pull this off like Kevin Owens, can they? Like,
No,
even the way he was all intense and he was having a little, like, spat with Seth Rollins, like, I need to start the match, and he looks like, okay, he's really up for this. Just so nonchalant, just like rolls out, bye. It's like, oh, he's so good, so good.
He's just the best kind of bastard, isn't
he? He is. I mean, that was good. Like, I'm not sure whether we've got it. Oh yeah, we'll talk about it as the shite. But yeah, that bit itself was fantastic. Top heel.
Yeah.
The only other highlight then to talk about for the whole Survivor Series was the main event. But more for the fact that Roman won, as he should, because as I pointed out, when you have Shorty G pushing you to your limits on an episode of Raw, literally, days before the pay-per-view, how can you possibly think Big E's going to beat Roman Reigns?
It's a really good way of making your wrestler look strong. And there's one thing you know how to do, it's how to make a wrestler look strong.
Yeah, and to be fair to Big E, he had some good moments in this. I really loved the reversal from the guillotine into the big ending. I thought that was fantastic. It was innovative, but yeah, the finish still felt a little bit flat, but at least it was definitive. It was a spear. It just kind of felt like, oh, it's over now. Like it wasn't like maybe I've become accustomed to finisher spam in WWE, where I was expecting like at least 10 finishes each, but this was just kind of like, oh, he's hit a spear. Oh, yes, it's over. So I don't really know what happened there. It was just kind of like, well, that's it then. But
well, it's kind of like when you play in WWE 2K21. Is it still 21? I don't know. You're not released 22. And you put like a really low rated wrestler against a really high rated wrestler. It kind of happens that way,
Yeah.
You don't need to finish a spam. You just do your finisher, and then they're pretty much out for the count. Like I'm sure if there was one of them body meters on the screen, the Big E's would have been totally red.
Probably, yeah. But no, yeah, I think it was clearly the right choice. Surprised how definitive it was that Roman beat Big E, but it kind of goes hand in hand with what we've been saying and how it should have played out. So
honestly, though, it's interesting. Like from a WWE standpoint, that they've basically made a very strong statement that Roman is the better, stronger champion. Like, which obviously as fans we all kind of got there, and this is Big E's first time with a world championship, so I suppose that's why they're leading into that. But so definitively is surprising.
Well, yeah, like similar to the Becky and Charlotte thing, they could have quite clearly gone for some kind of schmoz or like funky finish to it that made it seem like, oh, Big E, he could have won there really, but no, just Roman just battered him. So as it should be.
It's things like that you go, well, is that bad for Raw? Like going forward, it's like, well, the best guy on Raw couldn't beat the best guy on SmackDown. Like, could he even beat? Like, who could he beat on SmackDown? Like, is he is the best guy on Raw a mid-tier SmackDown guy? Like, I don't know. Just it makes.
The problem comes with the fact that he is, in my opinion.
He quite literally was. So wasn't he? He was on the mid-tier in SmackDown, and now he's on Raw as the main guy. Like,
which is
they quite literally have done that.
Yeah, which is why I'm giving them props, to be fair, because they could have tried to make it seem like it was a more even kind of playing field than it was, and I think they were right to go with this approach. So fair play. He still gave him a significantly more of a challenge than bloody Shorty G, who beat the shit out of Big E for ages before Big E just ended up winning. But yeah, all in all, Roman Reigns won. Me happy.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, slight digression. Like, just because I find it random. Fuck it, you can hear it on the podcast as well. Buff Bagwell just followed us.
Oh?
How random. Thanks,
okay.
Buff. I assume it's the legit Buff because he's got like a good few thousand followers and it says official, so it's got official, but that's pretty cool. Anyway. Sorry, slight digression. When you're like, really? Okay, cool. That's no disrespect to anyone else who follows us, but normally it's not names I recognise, that's all.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, to be fair, what's this on Instagram or Twitter?
Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of famous people all like connected to the biz followers.
We got the Sarge on there.
Yeah. We had Diana Hart and stuff.
She's on our Insta.
Yeah. Interesting.
But all good stuff. Anyway, we're just trying to name drop. Like, I wasn't deliberate, guys. I genuinely did see that just appear. Anyway, where are we up to, Carl? What were we
So
talking
you're
about?
going to talk about Damien Priest versus Shinsuke?
I want to talk about. No, I'm not. How do you know what I'm going to talk about? I'm going to
I can
talk
see it
about
right here.
like the fucking battle. Now, okay. So let's move into the Oshites. Damien Priest versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It's an Oshite for being moved to the pre-show. Again, further disrespect to this sort of level of matches. I think we've both talked for years about the sort of mid-card titles having no respect, and this is just further pointed out. But yeah, it's a pre-show match now. And look, I'm going to call it an Oshite because I think for the most we both agree that they've been booking Priest really well since he's hit on the main roster. But Priest getting disqualified, the fuck is that?
Didn't make any sense. It was like so out of character, the whole thing.
Also, I always get a little bit confused with shit like this. Can you get this technically? Can you get disqualified from a title match?
Yeah.
Like, isn't there some sort of rule about that? Where I can't remember how it goes now. No, you must be able to. That happens so much.
Yeah.
Isn't there like some sort of stipulation with a no? Do you know what? I'm fucking digressing now. Sorry.
Just for the people listening or watching the show, Anthony's very heavily medicated right now. He doesn't even know where he is. I kid, but no. It just didn't make any sense.
I know exactly where I'm, Carl. I'm in East St. Louis.
It just didn't make any sense for Damien Priest's character. I think the fact he would get himself disqualified like that, and it also didn't make sense or do him any favors to have Shinsuke beat him in that. Well, I mean, technically end up winning the match on paper because Priest is the one who probably needed it. So, but yeah, all in all, the fact he moved that to the pre-show, not good.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the Men's Survivor Series match then, Anthony. So, right, there were three countouts, right? So, I mean, fair play. Kevin Owens won. That was kind of funny. We'll allow that. They didn't want anyone to pin Drew McIntyre, so it was like, well, let's get him counted out then.
He just left swinging his sword around, didn't he?
Swinging his big old sword. And someone else, I can't remember who else it was who got disqualified with him. Who was he? It wasn't Jinder, was it? Was Jinder in the match? I don't even know. But yeah, someone else got disqualified as well. Time has passed. But yeah, 3 countouts is a little bit lame. And then the bloody whipping boy of SmackDown and Raw for the past year and a half, if not 2 years, Jeff Hardy is the sole survivor for SmackDown. Because, he was going to win, right?
Yeah, because he does flippity dips, doesn't he? So that's fine.
May as well have fucking Reggie in there. But, right, we end up with a final 3 of Austin Theory, Jeff Hardy, and Seth. Like, fuck, maybe don't release half your roster, and then we'll actually have some people it makes sense to be in there at the end. Like, what the fuck? But yeah.
They're too busy protecting people because there was people there who could have legitimately been there at the end, and they haven't had them there at the end because, like you say, Drew had to walk out and so on. Like we end up with situations like this, and you go no, how was this going to go? It's not going to go any other way, was it?
Exactly. So, all in all, terrible,
just awful. But let's face it, the Survivor Series setup. And the build-up was just shocking in terms of like the teams. It seemed arbitrary most of the time, although they then tried to instigate some rules like you've never been a champion, so you can't be on the team. But I'm going to put this guy on the team who I don't give a fuck about.
Well, yeah. Arbitrary. So, exactly. So it was like Dominic Mysterio's never been a champion, so yeah, that can't happen. We're going to replace him with Bobby Lashley. Oh, by the way, Austin Theory's on the team now. What?
Yeah. Like, you two are running both shows.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, we're trying to put the best SmackDown out there. Why? Well, we want to have the best Raw, but why?
Yeah. Even if they wanted the best versus the best, no offense to Austin, but he's only just hit the main roster. At what point did it include him? He's just as unproven, near enough, as Dominic. So,
yeah.
Just the booking just seemed arbitrary and confusing.
Yeah, 100%. The whole event did, to be fair. We've spoken. I mean, we'll talk. We'll go into this when we wrap it up in a minute. But yeah, this match sucked.
Indeed. You know what else sucked?
Go on.
The Battle Royal.
Oh,
just
you mean the giant
Pizza Hut commercial?
Fucking commercial.
I didn't want to feel hungry, but I like Pizza Hut, so.
Like, What is
ridiculous, isn't it?
what has WWE become, man? Like, I get it. Like, every now and again, do like a little Old Spice commercial in the middle of a thing. Cool. When you start incorporating it into the core of your matches, is
Honestly, I would sooner they go down the real on the nose during a backstage segment, like Wayne's World level of product placement, than this.
Yeah.
Like, I would sooner they speak to Seth backstage and he just decides to enjoy a nice Pepsi. I'm totally fine with that shit over this kind of shit.
But you feel like, though, as well, right, that like Vince or someone in creative has gone, oh, well, Street Profits, they're kind of like the New Day, right? They're some black guys who shout a lot. Well, didn't New Day used to throw pancakes around? We've got a Pizza Hut deal. Maybe they could throw slices of pizza, just like the New Day did. That'll work. It's literally what it was.
You wonder how much money they're making overall. Like, when you consider, like, they throw in shit like this. We've had zombies attacking the ring to promote a film. We've had various, like the Golden Egg, just to reference that Golden Egg. They must have got some money for that, because apparently that was connected to that Red Notice.
They definitely did.
On top of that, every single pay-per-view is brought to you by M&M's or Snickers or some sort of fucking snack as well. And they just don't bother with that. They just mention it every 5 minutes.
Exactly. But like, they definitely got paid for that Red Notice thing, because by all accounts, the original plan was to have it as part of some kind of 24/7 nonsense. But then The Rock or his production company was like, nah, that's shit. We actually want to make it into a big deal to promote the film. That's why Vince got involved in the first place. So, yeah.
Well, I hope they're satisfied with the big deal that it made.
It was such a big deal.
I didn't even know it was. I saw the film before I saw the fucking egg, for starters. And I didn't even know that it was connected to, because that's mostly because I probably fucking didn't pay attention, to be honest with you. But
well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely highly likely. But yeah, so we have a battle royal for just to get people on the card, apparently, and Omos wins it because, how's anyone going to eliminate him? It's just a new Big Show again, isn't he? Oh, he's tall, he's big.
How is anyone involved? And he likes pizza.
How are people going to lift him over the top rope? So
I hate that. Every time Big Show was in a Royal Rumble, you get that kind of shit as well.
Yeah,
I fucking hate it.
Exactly.
It's not infeasible. We've seen it happen so many times. He's tall. He's not heavy, for fuck's sake. Well, he's probably quite heavy, like, to the average guy, but to the kind of people that they've been dealing with all these years, he's not that heavy. So chuck him out.
Exactly. He's not heavy. He's my uncle, whatever it is. Isn't there a song? He's not heavy, he's my brother. Uncle?
I had no idea. Like, you just blow my mind right now, dude.
Tell us in the comments. So the next one to talk about was the women's battle royal, Anthony.
In the comments, these guys are lame. Like, oh.
I mean, that's fine, but is there a song? Please tell us. Let's talk about the women's Survivor Series match. Right. So it gets down to a 4-on-1. Bianca Belair is the only survivor on Raw. And then the remaining 4 from the SmackDown team all turn on Sasha, who's on their own team, and get her counted out. And despite it still being 3-on-1, Bianca beats all 3 of them in the space of 2 minutes.
But you know who she can't beat? Becky Lynch in 23 seconds.
Yeah, mad that. So how bad are the rest of the women then? Because, if you think about it, Becky can beat her in 23 seconds, and she can beat the rest of the fucking roster in like 2 minutes. So
it's almost as if they fucked up on that little moment with Becky, and they're trying to build up the est again.
Imagine, yeah. But yeah, this whole thing was just so stupid, wasn't it? Like, you're 4-on-1, and you can't put your differences aside for 2 seconds, and then just by getting rid of Sasha Banks, despite being 3-1 up, you can't beat Bianca Belair 3.
I mean, I think the factor is here that it doesn't matter, does it? Like, do they need to put the differences aside when the outcome actually doesn't really fucking matter at all? You don't win anything.
They weren't gaining anything from this, were they? I mean...
And that's, I think, what's missing. If there was some sort of gain from this, if they had any motivation at all to win.
Yeah.
Because they get moved around not long before it. Like, we had all this, the shake-up not long before it. So none of them really have an allegiance to the brand they're on. The only thing you get from it is bragging rights to say, well, Raw's better than SmackDown or vice versa. Like, they need to introduce something that you actually gain from winning the fucking match.
It should just be the winning team has like a 5-pack challenge or something, or a fatal 5 or whatever, to get a title shot. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like they have to work together because they're all working towards...
that makes sense, because you need to work together now, because you get an opportunity to go against each other for, like you say, for a title shot.
That's it.
So they'll inevitably get to tear each other apart. The animosity, it makes sense, but the urge to work together would also make sense. So,
well, that's it. You can build, plant your little seeds and start to build up your feuds, but don't have it all just explode or implode as part of the actual match itself, because it's so overdone now, isn't it? Can they coexist? It's funny, like I don't know whether you saw. I don't know whether you saw CM Punk. Someone was giving him shit because he's just got a random match with that Lee Moriarty or however you say it, and someone was like, "Oh yeah, typical AEW. This just put a match on without any build whatsoever." And Punk was like, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe you should have put us in a tag team match first to see if we can coexist." It's just like, it's just so funny.
I love how people even try and come at AEW for like random matches. It's like, yeah, everyone's guilty of that. Let's be honest.
I know, but it's funny because they're like with no backstory or whatever. It's like WWE's version of a backstory is 10 seconds before the match starts. They go, "Well, apparently we didn't book anything for the show tonight, so you're going to fight him." And then, okay, now there's backstory. But because that gets announced ahead of the show, it's like, right.
Or like, it's not even backstory, but that whole, like, I think it's a nice, easy get out of an open challenge as well. Well, of course, they went up against each other. He challenged anyone in the back. Like, and I don't mind them at all, but again, that is still a random match just with a little bit of reason. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's guilty of that shit. Everyone's
guilty. But anyway, sidebar aside. It was such a shame, really. A shame how they actually booked this match, really.
Has T-Bar been released?
No.
But Slapjack wasn't he?
Yes.
So we've still got T-Bar, Dominic Djokovic knocking about somewhere, haven't we?
Yeah, so Shane Thorne's gone. I don't think...
He's not being used much, is he?
I don't think the other guy's gone, though, has he? Has the other guy gone? Mace? Is he gone?
Mace. Isn't it annoying that I remember them more by the Retribution names than I do the real names now?
Yeah.
I think he might still be around, because they were a tag team, weren't they? They were still Retribution and they were a tag team. But they don't wear masks anymore because reasons. I guess they're still around. You just don't hear them, do you?
Yeah, that's a shame. We'll go with that.
Anyway, slight digression. So my one, Carl, and I think the last one of the night, and I think it's only fair, and be no surprise to anyone, no surprise to you, Carl, and we've already kind of mentioned it, the golden fucking egg.
Golden fucking turd.
I'd love to actually tot up just how many product placements and little sort of money-making things were involved in this pay-per-view alone, because, honest to God, this is basically just another opportunity to sell out. What was this? Why? I mean, like the way everyone was fawning over it as well. Like, is it even like? It's just a movie proper. I mean, again, I know kayfabe and all that bollocks, but really, like,
I don't get it, Anthony. I don't know what's happened. This was by and large one of the worst Survivor Series since the fucking Montreal Screwjob at this point.
I saw that note there and I'm like, I'm going to leave that line for Carl. Because that's
You're going to leave that for me. Because it's true. And like, legit, it was pointless. The whole thing was pointless. The whole thing was pathetic.
Considering this is one of their big four.
Well, you can't call it that anymore. I'm just going to say it. You can't. It's literally, it only exists because of tradition. But the tradition is gone. Like, it got ruined by this whole brand warfare thing, because it used to be not even to do with that. Like, way back in the day, it used to just be, the good guy team versus the bad guy team, and that's what it was. Now, they went down the brand warfare. It's like, well, we're going to pick the best of Raw and the best of SmackDown. Now they're doing the best of Raw and best of SmackDown when there's no need to compete, because no one's competing with each other. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you remember the year? And it wasn't even that long ago, really speaking, when NXT invaded.
Yeah.
And that was all with a bid to Survivor Series. And they alluded back to the WCW era days, and they had Shawn and Triple H leading them in the little tank. Well, not a tank, but the Jeep thing. Like, even that was better booked and more exciting. I know they were doing it all for the nostalgic pop, but even that was better booked and more exciting than this shit now. They just really, really phoned it in the last couple of years with Survivor Series. Yeah,
ridiculous. And this is the worst one on memory in a long, long time. The whole bloody show was surrounded by an egg, for Christ's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you shitting me. Like, that was the main thing of the whole show.
Yeah.
Embarrassing. And a load of matches that just didn't need to happen. Really, yeah. Well, they've ended up with egg on the face, is what I think.
Someone's cracked, really.
Benedict.
Sorry, what? He's a shell of his former self,
really. Really scrambling around for something to use here.
Honestly, Vince just needs to get laid.
We have a winner. Bravo. Damn.
Good job you say that, because I'm completely out of puns now.
Yeah, fantastic. Which can't be said for the show. Just an absolute nightmare, unfortunately. But yeah, that was Survivor Series 2021, Anthony.
Indeed.
So bad we've summed it up in less than half an hour. I'm going to give this show 1.5 out of 5, which for a top 4 pay-per-view is horrendous.
This gets my 1.
Okay.
The one that you wanted for Raw before, this gets a 1.
Wow, okay.
Because honestly, even the stuff that I sort of enjoyed, I didn't give a single fuck about anything in this pay-per-view.
Okay.
Like, if I had not watched it, it wouldn't have made a difference to my life at all. Like,
Damn.
Even the bits that were okay, the stuff that we've highlighted, the one good match that was there, it was shit. And it's shocking because I went on social media not long after the pay-per-view, and there's so many people like, oh, it's really good pay-per-view, candidate for like matches, pay-per-view of the year and stuff like that. It's like, based on what?
Yeah.
Based on fucking what? We had one good match, which was Charlotte and Becky, and they're the only reason it gets a 1 from me.
Yeah, fair play.
I mean, don't get me wrong, people will argue that Big E versus Roman was good. It was okay for what it was, but let's face it, we all knew what was going to happen, and if I missed it, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, no, you're right there, 100%. I think I'd probably score it as a 1 for Becky and Charlotte, and then maybe a 0.5 for Roman and just the Kevin Owens thing, to be fair. So
yeah. And I don't blame you for that, but I don't know, it bugs me enough that I'm going to have to give it me 1, I think.
Damn, harsh words from a harsh critic, but fair at the same time. So that was Survivor Series 2021. This has been the A2theK Wrestling Show. We've had fun. Anthony survived. He's made his way through the show. Fair play to Anthony. He's not well. He's powered through.
I'm having my own Survivor Series over here.
He is. And it's still more fun than this show. Not our show. Our show's good, but that Survivor Series show was not.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will hopefully be back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, someday. Tuesday. Well, it won't be Tuesday. It might be Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday probably.
One day.
One day. But yeah, so we've gone through This Week in Wrestling. We've gone through the Ringside Report, Survivor Series, and we've got a very awesome interview dropping very shortly after these as well.
Just as soon as we can drop it.
Just drop it like it's hot. So thanks for joining us once again. See you on the flip side. And who haven't we used yet? Georgia Smith. Have we used Georgia Smith? Okay, we'll use Georgia Smith to play us out. Take it easy, guys.
Hey guys, it's Georgia Smith here, and you've heard me on A2theK. These guys are awesome. Check it out. A2theK.
A2theK.